This is part 2 to How to Be a Villain. If you want to go see the first part, feel free to go check that out on my channel. I am Eros Echoes, and I do spirituality, self-development, affirmation, health content, and videos. So, if you like that content, feel free to stick around and hit that subscribe button. Onto the video. Which brings me to the next point. Villain rule number 9 is that no matter how crazy their dreams seem, like, for example, Thanos with his whole, you know what, I'm just gonna snap you out of existence. I'm just gonna, that's all it takes. Spoilers, by the way. Man, really, everybody was like, nah. But as Endgame kept going, he proved to all of us that he could just mess with time itself and change it around so that he can have his home back, so that he can have his family back, even though they were dead before. But it's like, no matter how crazy they are, they make a way to make it happen. They find a way to make it happen, even if that takes hours of searching and research to figure out a way to make it happen. They do it. They get clear on their goal and what they want, and they start planning steps to get there, and they follow those steps, achieving what they want one step after another until they fully achieve their dreams and what they want, what they desire. Until they have it, they just go. And they don't stop. They just go towards their dreams. And they just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just make your dreams a reality. Ultimately, I feel like that sort of mindset, and don't you dare say Sigma Milk, or I said I will. Don't you dare. Anyways. The way I said it kind of, but no, okay, yes, they work hard towards their dreams. Or, it's the smarts that clock in them hours. It's the smarts that clock in them hours. Because some villains, they work smart, not hard. Because some villains work smart, not hard. But overall, what I have to say is that no matter how crazy their dreams seem, or are, they prove to themselves that they were right, that they could, and that they can, and that they believed in themselves that they could, and that they can, right? They prove to themselves that it's possible for them to achieve, and that they deserve to have that thing, or do that thing. They prove to themselves that that is something that they could do. And villain rule number 10. They are disciplined. Okay? We don't see the behind the scenes, but sometimes when you be seeing those the little rants, it's like, oh, well, it's going on her rant again about her whole story. Mr. Doofenshmirtz, he's going on, he's ranting again because he needs to tell everybody what he did. But anyways, which not all villains are like that. He literally goes on a whole, for Phineas and Ferb, he goes on a whole rant. He's like, yeah, and I did this, and this, and I had to do this, and now I have this great death machine, ray gun. Like, sometimes you'll be thinking back and you're like, okay, but you did what now? And that's how long? And it's like, you really think back on it, and it's like, oh, that was a lot of dedication. That was a lot of dedication to just do that out of, okay. Like, my point is that even if the work is not seen, they're diligently working to carry out their wants. Well, I guess it's like they're diligently working towards their dreams, and they're dedicated to making that a reality. So in other words, disciplined. Also, they follow that plan step by step and get it done, baby. They get done. They follow through. They follow through. Like, if you think about it, it's like everybody got good and bad days. Even if they probably weren't feeling all that well, they were probably like, you know what? I just want to smite that fucking Luke Walker. So I gotta get up because So I gotta get up because I gotta one day take my revenge and smite that guy. So I gotta get up even though I don't feel like it. Yeah. You could do that, but turn around and be like as an example, turn around and be like, I have to be disciplined with my workout and with my workouts and my eating healthy because I want to glow up. I want to glow up. I want to smite Susie. I want to smite Susie because I gotta glow up because I gotta get my revenge by being my best self. I get my revenge by being my best self. But yeah, you could, girly, this is a self-improvement. This is a self-improvement video, okay? Girly, if you didn't know, now you know, okay? You could even use being disciplined to build self-confidence. Because you're literally telling yourself, and self-esteem, and trust. Hold on. Because you're literally telling yourself by getting up and doing it anyways, that one, you love yourself, and two, that you follow through, meaning that you keep your promises to yourself. That builds self-esteem. You're building trust with yourself because you're telling yourself that you're gonna do it for you, sweetie. That you're gonna do it for you, okay? You're building when you do that, okay? You're not always gonna be motivated, which is also why this is important, because you're not always gonna feel motivated to do what you want or to do the things that you want to do. You're not always gonna feel motivated. But luckily for you, the good thing is that discipline can help fill in those areas and get those things done when you need them to get done, or help you work on them when you just don't feel like it. You could think of it as your little buddy, your little psychic. Give it a name. Give it a name. Give it a name. Give it a name. Best bud. Jareth. Discipline my buddy, Jareth. That'd be funny. If you take that idea and you think of it, just you think of it as like, per se, like a fitness trainer being like, you gotta get up. You gotta get up. You want those gains? You want those gains or not? If you need to motivate yourself like that, do it. If you need to imagine discipline as this fitness trainer that's motivating you and rooting you on to get up and do those workouts, do it. Villain rule number 11. Okay, you always have your own back. You always got your back. Even if you haven't always been there for yourself, you know that from now on, you will always be there for yourself. You will always have your own back. You will always be there to support yourself, to lift yourself up, to encourage yourself to keep going. And this, I feel like, is an aspect, it just gives self-love. To me, that's self-love. You're gonna always be there for yourself like the best friend you are, you know? It's giving being your own best friend. That even when others are not there for you, you are. And that's crazy. And it's kind of like, you don't have to worry about your own safety or what others think and this, that, and the other, because it's like, okay, well, I got me. If anything happens, like, I can take care of it. And I'm very much capable of doing so because I believe in myself. And I know that I can handle anything that comes my way. And I am my own best cheerleader. Like, that's me. That's me. So it ain't even a problem. It ain't even an issue. Because I got me. I got me. It don't matter if they don't got me, because I got me. I can fall back on me and know that I will be okay no matter what. I will be just fine no matter what, because I know that I will always be there for myself. I know that I will always be there for myself, so it will always be fine. It will always be okay. Villain rule number 12. I don't have enough fingers. I don't have enough fingers to be like, oh, 12. I don't. And I'm not putting my toes up in the camera, so. They know their limits, but they also know how to push past them, okay? They also push past those limits. They also go way higher, way farther than they ever been before, okay? And yes, heroes do this too, but you have to remember that the villains are also doing this. The villains are also improving and growing and pushing past their limits to become better and greater and more evil. Because think about it, if they want to surpass the hero and make their reality that they desire to happen a reality and come true, then they must be greater, better than the hero. They must be greater or better than the hero. And it's also like they try to live up to their own, I don't want to say exactly idea, but it's like if you believe in yourself so much that you can achieve this dream that you want, or you have the capacity to do this thing, or whatever, right? If you know that you can do that, then you're gonna take steps to be that person. You're gonna take steps to then become that person. As I said, the plan. You work out a plan, you take it step by step to get there to that dream, right? So you're gonna increasingly become better and learn more in order to become that person that you wanna be, that's already living out that dream that you want, right? So yes, you're gonna keep getting better and better. Yes, you're gonna keep pushing past your limits. Yes, you're gonna keep doing that. And what you also would know is you would also understand yourself a lot to be able to know, okay, this is an area that I need to get better at, or this is an area where I can improve here or there. Like, you know yourself so well that you understand where exactly needs improvement in order for you to get there, in order for you to get your dreams or achieve that goal. You understand exactly where you are and where you need to go in order to make all of that a reality, or all of that happen. Because you know you have that potential, you have that ability to do more and be more, you'll begin to create an idea of what that looks like. That general idea will help you get there in terms of making steps in order to be that person. Villain rule number 13. They turn their pain into power. They turn their pain into power. Come on now, there's so many examples of this. There's so many examples of this. Like Maleficent. Even if some portrayals of her kind of picture her as this person who, out of being different than other people and being pushed out of the crowd, like being separated because she was different, she didn't fit the norm of what should be or what people thought should be. But she kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna take those experiences that I had and I'm gonna, you know what? And this is what you need to do, okay? You look at your past, you take those experiences and you say, okay, I'm gonna define it in my own way, because I have choice in the way that I choose to see and perceive things, and I have the decision of choosing how I want things to be. So I'm gonna take my past and define it in my own way, because I get to decide. I get to choose, honey. I get to choose. So I'm gonna take my past and define it in my own way and choose how I react to that. I'm gonna choose how I react to that and react in a way that, one, empowers me, and two, is what I want, honestly, because think about it. You could either react in a way, you could be all down on yourself and being sad and victimizing yourself, or you could say, okay, this was an experience that I had and this is what happened. I'm not gonna let that dictate how I act or react. I'm not gonna let that dictate my emotions. I'm not gonna let my emotions have a hold over me. That's how you. And you know how powerful that is? You know how powerful that is to stop and think, just like to stop, be present, and be like, okay, how do I actually wanna react to this? How do I actually want things to play out? How do I want things to play out? Because your reactions, girly, 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 your reactions are so important in deciding the way things go, the way things happen. If you're really trying to manifest a reality that you want, that's going to be one of the biggest things, is choosing how you react to things, because that could be so powerful. That could be the thing that takes you out of never-ending cycles. It could be the thing that like closes out those cycles, closes out things that are not serving you any longer, letting go of things, letting go of relationships, even just like setting boundaries, mindset changes. It's like so important. And even with like positive thinking, like that's the thing, like, you know, not wanting to think negatively. You take a sec, you have, and I know it's hard. I know it's hard, but you stop, you be present for a sec, and you realize, oh, I'm thinking negatively. And that's the start. And that's the start. When you consciously start to choose how you react and what you decide to say, what you decide to tell yourself, what you decide to think, that is a start. That is a start. And that is so powerful in of itself. And you should congratulate yourself for even doing just that. Because a lot of people don't even do that, or find it hard to even make that change to do that. And also, even if it is hard for other people to do that, you should be proud of yourself for wanting to make that change, or wanting to do that, to want to make that happen for yourself, to want to start to think more positively. Literally, that is so powerful. 1, shifting your reality. 2, manifestation. 3, just being a co-creator with the universe. So many ways. Villain rule. What are we on? Wait. I think we're on 14. Villains don't let other people stop them. They don't let them get in the way of what they want to do and stop them from doing that. They don't let people stop them from achieving the things that they want to achieve and doing the things that they want to do. For example, say someone tells you like, oh, I don't think you can do that because, and again, projections of their own fears and limiting beliefs. I don't think you can do that because, you know, I don't think you can get that job because it's this type of job. You haven't done that before. You haven't tried that. I don't think you. But say someone comes at you saying that, right? Instead of believing them, don't do that. Because we don't want to take that belief on. We don't. Instead of believing them, you'll change the way you think and go, oh, I do understand that this is something that is new and is something that I haven't done yet. But although it is new, it being new, it can be exciting. And also, I know my worth and I know myself and that if I put my mind to it and I want it done, I can achieve that. Or just knowing in of itself, like, okay, and I can do what needs to be done in order to achieve such things or have such things or do certain things. This one is very much heavy mindset in the sense of you have to control the way that you're thinking. You have to control the way that you're thinking, because so much so where you really do have to control the way you're thinking, because someone who people pleases has a harder time putting themselves first than putting others first, right? So it can be easier to listen to other people, or someone with low self-esteem. It can be easier to listen to someone else's opinion over your own, like, especially with like identity and that sort of thing of not knowing yourself. Sometimes you'll take other people's opinions over your own to really understand your own potential or yourself in some ways, or even to even believe in yourself. Sometimes. So it's really important mentally that you understand not only that there are times when people will come at you saying things, whether they knowingly know that they are doing this or not, say things that are a projection of their own limiting beliefs, their own fears, their own doubts, their own perceptions of the way they have lived their life or seen other people live their lives, okay? You have to understand that that is another person's opinion and separate that from your own. And this can be, if you don't really know yourself or have low self-esteem, it can be a little bit difficult to pull those apart. But you have to be intentional with focusing on, okay, I'm doing this because someone else told me that blah, blah, blah. Like, someone else told me that I wouldn't be able to do this, so I'm working hard to do this because I think that that will get me there. Therefore, you're acting out of fear of someone else's opinion. Another example, creatives. Seeing your work, sometimes if you see your work and really base it off of expectations or standards, comparing yourself to someone else, if someone else says something to you that sort of hits that insecurity or limiting belief that you already have, sometimes people can absorb someone else's opinion because of their own already. So them saying, well, oh, maybe if you just like, you know, work on this, maybe, yeah, you'll be able to do that. Maybe, yeah. Sometimes hearing something like that can make you take on someone else's opinion because of your own self-doubts or limiting beliefs already. And then that kind of just adds to it, making it a lot weighing down on that self-belief. With villains, though, they believe in themselves so much and they know their worth. Okay, girly, they know their value. And it doesn't matter if other people don't see it. They know their value. So it doesn't matter what... I want to keep saying Susie because I think that's funny, but it doesn't matter what other people have to say because they know they're deserving and worthy of having what they want. So it doesn't matter if you don't like me. It doesn't matter because I know just because you think you can't doesn't mean I can't. Just because you think you can't doesn't mean I can't. Just because you are scared of doing this thing doesn't mean I shouldn't. Doesn't mean I have to be scared of that either. You know? So don't let other people's opinions, and I want to further that by saying fears, limiting beliefs, scare them or stop them from doing what they want to do. And the last thing I want to talk about with how to be a villain. Villain rule number 15. They validate themselves. They validate themselves because think about it. A lot of times villains are working behind the scenes to achieve what they want. Not a lot of people are privy to that or seeing that. Self-esteem here, right? I feel like you need to self-validate in those situations because there are times where it feels like, man, I wish someone would just say like, this, because I could really need this right now. Whether that's like, hey, keep up the good work, bud. I see you. You're doing a good job. I see you. I see the hard work that you're putting in. The external validation, right? There are times where if you do not validate yourself enough and you're working hard at something and you're not validating yourself, your self-esteem, you're going to want to look for that validation outside of yourself because you are not giving that to yourself already. You are going to look outside of yourself for validation, external validation, because you are not receiving that. At these times where nobody really sees what you're doing, nobody sees what you're working on or how hard you've been working to do this, that, and the other, I feel like these are important times to self-validate. Because nobody sees what you're doing. It's kind of like that saying where it's like, oh, what was it again? It's like something about being nice even when others don't see that. I forget what it is, but anyways, it's important because self-validating boosts your self-esteem, right? And yeah, we know that. But it's so important when, especially if you're trying to build your self-esteem, to do that. Even if it's like, well, this ain't feeling that great. But this ain't. Because, again, it builds a relationship with yourself. And I feel like it's like it's an energy that helps you keep going. It's being your own supporter in a way by self-validating. Being your own supporter, your own cheerleader. By continuing to keep up with telling yourself, hey, you're doing a good job. Keep going, bud. I see that finish line. Keep going. It can help you keep going. It can help be a motivation. And I also think it actually kind of helps with staying a bit more positive. At least with how you view things. In a little, like, at least how you view things when it comes to the work that you're putting in. But villains, a lot of times you don't see that work. There are times when you don't see that work of behind the scenes of them taking who knows how long to build this machine or build this contraption or build this gun. Sometimes you don't see that. And it's like they got through that whole process while also being villainized, by the way, and disliked. They got through that whole process and still are the badass bitch. Anyways. But I wanted to bring this up because it's something where I feel like they're not bothered. They are not bothered by the fact that other people don't see their work or see what they're working on or validate them for doing this and that. They don't care. When you self-validate, you don't need others' validation. It becomes like I'm not even kidding. I've experienced this before and it was crazy because I was like, what? That's crazy. Now that I actually, give that love back to myself in that sort of way where I validate myself, it feels like nothing. Like, I don't need that. I don't need that anymore. I don't need that anymore. There was this one time where this person came up to me. It was out of nowhere. And they were like, wow, you're so good at this. You're so good at this. All of a sudden, they just started complimenting me. And I was like, that's crazy. Because before, I wanted to hear that. But now that I'm the one telling myself that, it doesn't matter. It was just like, wow, that's crazy. That now that I give myself that, you're giving me that now. And that's the whole thing. It reminds me of that one reflection. I could talk about that. Oh, I could talk about that. Oh, I could talk about that. So if you want to know more, let me know. But reflections, mirroring of your reality and that whole concept. Of just even when people say things like, oh, I was pining for your attention and your love, and the whole runner chaser thing. But now that I'm not, now you're doing it. It was that whole thing. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Because I don't need that external validation. Yeah, it may be nice. Yeah, it may be nice, but I don't need that. They don't need external validation from others because they're already telling themselves that they're worthy, telling themselves that they're enough, telling themselves that they're good. In whatever way is relevant, right? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if people see the work that I'm doing or not, because I don't need them to say, hey, good job. I don't need them to do that because it doesn't matter. I'm already fulfilled by the self-validation that I'm giving to myself, so it doesn't matter. And I also think part of it is when you self-validate in the sense of, self-esteem, again, the whole thing about knowing I've been doing this, so I know what's happening. So I know what's happening. So if anybody wants to talk shit, if anyone wants to talk crap, doesn't matter. If anyone wants to talk crap, it doesn't matter. Because I know what's happening. I know what's been going on because I've been seeing through my eyes. They've been seeing through theirs, and they have their own perspective, and that's fine. That's great. That's dandy, right? But it's not my side of the story. It's not my side of the story and what actually has been happening. The other thing I wanted to say is that their self-image, because of that self-validation, their self-concept, their self-image is good. It's good. Since they hold themselves at such a high standard or value, and they know their value, it really doesn't matter what other people have to say, because that's not going to affect the way that they perceive themselves. That's not going to affect the way they view themselves. That's not going to affect how they see their image in their head of themselves. It's not going to affect it because they already know this is who I am. It just really is not going to do anything. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. But anyways, that is all for this video. Oh my gosh, wait. Comment below if you have any stories of just times where you feel like you were the villain in someone else's story. And leave a like if you like this video. And I will see you in another video.